Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Wrestle Plug podcast. It's been a little while. I've been busy, but I'll tell you who's been busier than me, the most unprofessional wrestler in wrestling, Aeron Nix. And that is, of course, my guest this evening, a genuine megastar. He won't tell you he's a megastar. He's too nice for that stuff, but he is a big star. Some might say he's the biggest wrestler ever. He is, of course, international superstar Franco Varga. Welcome to the Wrestle Plug, sir.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, I will never admit I'm a megastar, but I will take the compliment. So thank you so much.
Well, I mean, obviously, a lot of people watching this interview will know, hey, that's that guy who came over and worked in Britain, the UK, and, you know, waved our flag around and disrespected us. And I'll be like, that's exactly why we had him on the Wrestle Plug, because I like disrespectful people like myself. So you are more than welcome here, sir.
No hard feelings to the fans. I know, the Union Jack is very, it's one of those things that you guys love over there. But if you bring a flag out to the ring, it's part of your gear. So technically I didn't cheat. So I'm being falsely accused. I don't know about you, but that's how I feel about it.
Well, when I'm playing FIFA on the Xbox, I always like to shout at people when they're offside, learn the rules. And that applies to wrestling as well.
Right. Learn the rules. So if I hit you with your flag, it's kind of like I grabbed you by your tights. It's the same. It's the same thing.
What we're really saying here is, Joel Redman, use your brain, just be a bit smarter, mate. With all you should know by now. You're a megastar in your own right. You should know better than that, Joel. So you learn.
Yeah, Joel's one of the top guys on the planet. So I was definitely prepared for that. So yeah, I wouldn't go into a match of that caliber. So heavily marketed and pushed. I'm not gonna go into that. Just thinking it's just another match. So no, I was heavily prepared. I knew he was gonna be waving that British flag, trying to get his people behind him, and I already had the game plan. So one for America.
Most people know where you're from, what you've done, where you trained, things like that. So we're not going to get into that. Go to the YouTubes, have a search, read up, do some history, because Franco Varga's got an amazing story to tell. He's got many amazing stories to tell. We're going to zone in a little bit on the UK tour, because you've just wrapped that up. You've just come back. You've already been hitting it hard, back on the grind, doing dates, working in St. Louis, doing TV tapings. You're a man who is in demand. And again, I allude to the fact that you are a megastar. You don't get to be booked everywhere unless you're very, very, very good at what you do.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
How was the tour of the UK overall for you? Because I know it was a short turnaround, and this was an opportunity as well to bring over somewhat of a friend in Jake Hollister as well.
No, Jake. I've known Jake for years. This tour was really, initially they never heard of Jake before, and I think leaving the UK, he left a good impression that I was very proud to help him leave. So yeah, the tour was three shows of the who is who of Great Britain, like as far as British wrestling, So the who is who. I mean, Friday we have Bolton Town Wrestling. Joey Hayes, that's one of the names that you guys know forever. I mean, he's the unsung hero of British wrestling. I mean, the guy's phenomenal. So the fans ate that up. Super solid crowd in a small little town, Bolton. I would have never even imagined. Like it was just rowdy. And then the next day, I mean, I just faced the ambassador of wrestling himself, the legend, Doug Williams. And not only was that a learning experience for me, but 10-year-old me was freaking out, man. 10-year-old me was like, dude, we just wrestled Doug Williams and almost won.
A long time as Doug.
But be able to get the thumbs up from Doug, and I know he doesn't really take pictures with too many people. So to be able to take a picture with Doug, and just really give him the warm and fuzzy of like, this guy's gonna be something. These are not my words. So that was a validation to my career, to me as a performer. And then of course on Sunday, the long haul from Blackpool all the way to Southampton for just CWP, which already felt special. I saw it all over the place. I saw, like you guys, the marketing was insane. I mean, all the artwork was great. The only letdown was the weirdo from The Voice UK. I mean, we didn't really need him. Kind of did some loser kind of things. I mean, but aren't most singers kind of weird? So I don't know. But anyway,
stars, not like you.
Yeah, I don't know. Singing is hard, but it's also just singing. But whatever. But no, I think the fans that showed up were, no matter what, they were going to show up for me versus Joel, and I was happy to headline that show versus Joel. And I know they hated me. I know they wanted me to go home, and they wanted me to leave, and I'll leave when I want to leave. So, but no, it was an honor. It was an honor going on tour in the UK and then announcing that I'll be there all of February. Even when they hate my guts, they're like, okay, good, I'm coming to that. So regardless of if they come to see you with open arms and they want to hug you and all that, or if they come to see you get your butt kicked, they're coming to see you. So I think I did my job. I'll be there all of February again. And the matches are already lining up there. It's going to be good. It's going to be a good long 3-week tour. So this is like the longest I've been in the UK. Will be the February tour coming up.
Yeah, I'll be making a personal charge to come and see you a few times, and we'll grab a beer and whatnot. But from a professional standpoint, I see those 3 talents lined up in front of you, and that's back to back to back as well. There's no break there. You come over,
no.
You work Hayes, the next night you work Doug Williams, big star, Impact Wrestling, everything. And obviously you'll know British stars, it's a big deal for British talent to be able to break, over to the, go over to the United States, break into any foreign territories really, and especially work TV. And then of course Joel Redman capped that off, the first ever NXT Tag Team Champion. And if you didn't know that, I'm sure I'll tell you that if you ask.
And also fellow All Japan, just participant. So yeah, no, tons of respect for the guy.
So you've got those 3 names back to back to back. Okay, now obviously you're a very, very, very good wrestler. Okay, no scrubs here. And the reality is that we know that you're going to be able to have good matches. What goes into the mentality, the thinking of that, knowing that you have to go to war with 3 very, very reputable and very respectable individuals like that? We're not talking about, oh, hey, I'm going to come over, work with some talents, put them over a bit, help get them up the card, maybe, show my face a little bit. No, you're at the top of the card in every instance, having easily probably, well, especially in our case, match of the night by a country margin, and well deserved.
Thank you.
What goes into that mentally? How do you prep yourself for that? Or is it something that's just, by nature for you now?
No, I mean, I'm at 10 years now. But honestly, when they're the big profile matches like that, I tend to, I know it's going to sound weird, I tend to try to forget about the hype and everything and just treat it like, I know, I don't want to be disrespectful in any way, but like wrestling Doug, I had to basically tell myself, okay, he's just another guy. He's just another guy. We just got to go in there, do our thing like it's just another guy. And then at the end, you can have your goosebumps and your butterflies and all your, oh my gosh, that was Doug Williams stuff. But during the time, and I think that's probably why he took a liking to me, was, hey, this is what I do. This is what we should do. This is what I think this crowd will like. This is what the internet crowd will like, because it was also an internet pay-per-view, so that we were filming. So you have to consider the overall basis of what the crowd would want to see, right? But no, I think we just had an intelligent conversation. All 3 of us, like all 3 times. And like with Joey is a totally different crowd. With Doug is a totally different crowd. And of course with Joel is a totally different crowd. So I always go into it just thinking about what would I want to see if I was sitting in that front row, if I was sitting all the way in the back row and not in the ring myself. So I try to get back to the crowd. And I look around the locker room and stuff, and I see different versions of where I was in my career. The guy in the corner jotting everything down memory wise. I'm trying to remember everything and all that. And then the guy who is just like, let's just see what works and he's still trying to figure it out. And then the guys, this cool, calm, and collected, like, we'll give the people what they want to see. And we'll do the things that we do very, very well. And the people know us to do. And then we'll have fun and be safe. And that's kind of where I'm at now, is just, I love the press and doing all the podcast interviews and radio interviews and all that stuff. But leading up to it, but the day of, I try to just kind of forget, just go into it like it's cool, calm, collected, natural, just kind of me. I think you've been around me enough to see like, he's just cool. He just wants to sit. I sit in a corner. I know a lot of the guys want to take pictures with me and stuff, and that's cool too. But I just go over to the side and I pick a corner of the room, and that's where I'm gonna be. That's come talk to me or don't. But I'm gonna. That's kind of where I gel. I'm gonna kind of start thinking and looking at the crowd coming in and getting my stuff together and all that. So. Yeah, it's different for everybody, but I think that's what works best for me. Is I try to be part of the moment. I try to treat it like treat the moment with respect, but at the same time, just try to have a clean slate mentally. Just be fine.
A system reset each time.
Every time.
There's differences in every single country in the way they present professional wrestling, the way they work within the ring. You're not going to get many Doug Williams, for instance, working in the United States, and vice versa. No. We don't get nearly enough Franco Vargas working in the United Kingdom, so it kind of works both ways. Even though a lot of us are trying to emulate a more American style, some of us have kind of got away from that, that traditional style, that world of sport style. For you, coming over here, you've been over here now a few times. You've been abroad many times. You're well traveled now, seasoned veteran, so to speak, and 10 years under the belt. When you jump across and you come and do shows like those, which were, to be fair, fairly high profile, especially the first two. No disrespect to CWP, who I work for, but the first two in particular, pretty high profile, and obviously not much more than PCW, which is a big deal over here. Yep. What stands out to you as the big differences from working in the US, continuously touring, obviously a much bigger country, and then coming over here and working in the UK sort of sense? What jumps out of you and makes you think, that's a little bit more unique, that's a little bit different, that's a completely different take to what I'm used to?
Yeah, my first trip was for the Road to Glory tournament, the big one. It's pretty stacked. It was like Jeff Cobb and MJF and Sugar Dunkerton, myself, Tom Lawler. That was my big experience of they flew me in and I got to see the inside of London airport, and then they flew me out. That was it. So I was like, oh, this was great. But then this last one was my fourth trip over. As I've expanded throughout the UK, I start to see that, it's not as easy moving around. Right. So that was actually what something I wanted to show Jake in this tour is you go to Bolton Friday, you wrestle, and then you got to get on a train first thing in the morning. And that train is 4 hours to the next town. And it's just the in-betweens are a lot more difficult in the UK and as well in Australia as well, same kind of way. Australia's huge, so it's you kind of have to mind. That's where the professional comes out. You have to really watch the time and mind what you're doing, and watch how much time you spend. Sometimes even with the fans after shows and meet and greets and things like that. You sometimes you got to go. So that's the big thing that guys don't realize. America versus England. In America, you'll see some guys double, triple book sometimes. On the same night, they'll have 2 bookings and all that, because you can go one place to the other, maybe 3-hour drive, but it's a straight shot. You can't do that in England, sorry. I think from Preston to Southampton, if you look at it on a map, it's a straight line. If you drive it, it's 9 hours. so it was one of those like, hey, like with Jake, I was like, hey, let me I want to show you how it really is. Like, let me show you how, the actual travel part is. It's a grind. It's not this glamorous life where you're Ric Flair in the 80s, it's a grind. It's get up first thing, wrestle, give those people 110%, hopefully take a shower, and then get on the big mega bus of the National Express onto the next show. That's how it is in British wrestling. But in a way, it's kind of got that charm, because a lot of guys don't make it because it's tough. It's tough. It's one of the toughest like markets to ever make it in. That's why I got tons of respect for like guys like Doug. And that was actually when I came over for the 10-year anniversary of PCW. That was it was super surprising to see at the airport Doug Williams picking me up, and I was like, wow. Whoa. So that's kind of where that was our first like introduction to each other, and just riding 6 hours together to get to that 10-year anniversary show. I was just like, wow, like this doesn't bother this guy at all, because this is what he does. He's hard. And funny story, actually, a good funny Doug Williams story. I don't know, many of you guys might not have it, but so we roll up together. We're not wrestling each other, so we roll up together at the 10-year anniversary in Preston, and of course it's PCW, so there's a line outside, and we show up to the Riva, and there's a line outside, and people are like, "Oh, Varga's here. Can I get a picture?" And Doug's like, "What the hell? I'm Doug Williams." So I'm like, "Hey guys, it's Doug Williams. Like, come on, guys." And they're like, "Oh yeah, Doug." And this guy, and fans, we have feelings too, So like he didn't really understand what he was doing, but he's like, "Doug, I used to watch you when I was like 8 years old." This guy's like in his 20s. "Oh, I used to watch you. You're one of my favorite, you're a national hero." Blah blah blah. And Doug's like, "Oof." Like I could tell that would hurt. That would hurt more than that guy knew, But I was giving him crap the whole night about it. But I stopped and I was like, "Oh my God, that's gonna be me with someone else." And I was just like it's really just a big cycle. It's a vicious cycle of just like you get well known, and then you get old, and then you help someone else get well known, and then they get old, and then it's like, so it's just crazy. But yeah, it was funny to poke fun at Doug, because I'm like, look at me, I'm the internet star, and they all want pictures with me, and he's kind of like, "Hey, I'm chopped liver over here," like, what the hell's this? So it was funny, but I also understood that he's just like, I've been there before, it's all good. So, but yeah, no, it's British wrestling, the fan base, dude. If you watch the match with Joel itself, that guy, he stole the flag. He was so invested in the match that he tried to stop me from hitting his hero with his flag. Yeah, there's no stopping me, but those are the kinds of things that you don't see in America. We love our wrestling here when we do love it, and it's more of a niche thing in America now. But between like England and Japan, I've always said England and Japan are my two favorites to wrestle, and then I guess to travel, Australia is always my favorite as far as like just the sightseeing, and just it doesn't get old. It's like England is perfect Starbucks weather, because you can walk outside, you can get a little Starbucks anywhere, and you got a little bit of rain, and you got a little bit, so it's nice. It's nice little pea coat jacket weather. And then same kind of thing in Japan, but Australia, it's always nice year round. It's so super nice, and it's super nice to like see, and the sights and stuff. Their wrestling scene is not as prestigious as the UK scene, but they're getting there. They're getting there as they build stars, and some stars have gone. Some of their mega stars have gone on to be signed with WWE and recently, released and stuff. So they'll go back home, and they'll eventually help that scene grow. So Australia will be fine. But yeah, no, the UK is phenomenal. It's one of my favorite places.
Yeah, no, Jonah Rock is somebody who jumps out at me. It's like I really modeled a lot of what I was trying to do on Jonah Rock. I love his style, being a bigger guy who could still move but work sensibly. I was really invested in what he did, had the chance to pick his brains, and that's a testament to Australia, because Australia is such a big country, like you're saying. Yeah,
Yeah,
wrestling
but a
scene.
small wrestling scene.
Yeah, if you
That's
take
actually a
Melbourne
game that
City
was
out of
pitched to me the other day. So
it.
maybe we'll see that happen. So
That would be sick, to be fair. Yeah, I'll be all over that. That's the dreams, is to go over and either work those or even just record them, man. They're all like bucket lists for people like
yeah.
myself. Do you have bucket lists? Do you have a bucket list of sorts?
I don't do names like as far as people on the list. I used to actually, my wife came up with this joke for me. I actually wanted to go over and wrestle different versions of myself. So like year 1 me versus year 5 me, and so I mean I think everyone should want to do that, as but I think bucket list to me, I've done a lot of the things on my list, I will say, but the one thing that scares me that I may or may not be able to accomplish is Madison Square Garden. So we'll see. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna push definitely the next couple of years to really try to get a match, any kind of match at Madison Square Garden, so I can say I did it. But that's the one thing that that when I first started, I have a list that I still have, and Madison Square Garden was on it, and I still haven't done that one. But everything else I've done. So headline a show in a country that I don't live in. That was just that entire weekend in one shot. So I was super proud of that weekend for many, many reasons.
How's as you achieve more in the United Kingdom, but also in other places, does it become more about experiencing the culture than it does wrestling, or is it more a case of like there's always going to be something else to do? Do you lose any of the kind of luster once you've done it a few times working abroad?
No, I think I mean, I can only speak for myself, but the way I look at it is my first tour is not going to be as good as my last, right? So I went all the way to the semifinals in my first tour over in a big tournament, big for PCW. That's a big company, but no, I want the best of the best. I want to be considered the best of the best imports. I want, import of the year or something. There's got to be different goals. But no, I still want to compete at a high level, and I still want to come over, and I still want people to I want people to be excited to see me because I've been gone. I know that's a big thing to me is I never want to stay long enough to become stale anywhere. So that's why I love independent wrestling. We can come and go as we want. We can control our schedules and all that. So no, I want to come back in February, that I can already feel the excitement. I can already get the messages of like, hey man, hey man, your seminar sold out. This is February we're talking about. Hey man, can I get a interview of you and Martin Kirby for your match? That's a name that a lot of people want to wrestle.
Yeah.
And I get to do that one at Rival Kings, and it's already, the damn show's almost sold out. This is February we're talking about. We're in November. So if I can help do these things for these people, hell yeah, I'm all about it. So yeah, I want the best of the best. I know I'm going to get Doug Williams again. I know I'm going to get Jody Flag. I know I'm going to get, the top names out there. I'm calling it now. I've asked around about Will Ospreay in the UK, not anywhere else, just in the UK. That's kind of what I'm about. I want to wrestle the best of the best where they're from. And that's kind of, I'm a conqueror in a way.
Yeah, Will Ospreay's, that's a big deal. Like, regardless of what certain people might think of his persona and the way he acts out of the ring and things of that nature, he's
undeniable. He's undeniably one of the best guys.
Royalty, basically, is what he is over here. For better or for worse, for a lot of people. I've taken it for granted, actually, how many times I've had the chance to, I've worked a show where I've been like ring crew for Will and, different things like that. And it's actually kind of like mind blowing to think he's that special. And yet we're just like, oh, it's just Will. Because he's just kind of so, working class. He's a working class lad. He's well known, his story of being personally trained. I'm curious because I've seen you putting videos on your social media, drinking iron brew and trying Jaffa cakes and things of that nature. And as you've probably seen from my size, I'm quite sizable. I can put away a Jaffa cake or two. But one thing that I'm really interested in is like, so when I go to America, right? Because I am unapologetically a closet Yank, as everyone calls me. They're all just like, yo, I mean, it's basically American. Is there Aaron's American? He loses his mind. He's in Washington. He's in New York, whatever. And when I go over there, I'm just like, oh my God, the food and the snacks and the sweets. I just come back looking like, King Kong Bundy in worse days, let's be honest. It's that kind of thing. I'm like, well, that's going to take a long time to work the fuck off. For you, what stands out to you as the worst thing about the UK? Is there anything, not just necessarily
No,
food,
I've ever since my first trip, I've always said the food is just not my favorite. And I just I finally found Nando's, right? That's a thing that you guys have that I don't have here.
That'll get you a booking with Will Ospreay. He's obsessed.
Nice.
Yeah,
I love me some Nando's. Nando's is very unique to the UK, and I can't have it here. So every time I go, I have to have Nando's. But no, I think I'm a huge fan of fish and chips ever since my first trip, having a proper fish and chips, not just the crap we have here, because the what we try to pass off as fish and chips here is not fish and chips. I know that for a fact. I can say it's not. So I think I have my favorites, but the generality of the food in the UK, no, it's not. No, it does not compare to food in Mexico or just the different kinds of foods in America, just the melting pot of food that we have here. And I can't claim that our food is great, because our food doesn't belong to us. Our food is from everywhere. We have foods from all over. So, I know you've been here. So in America, we have this thing where we call it little whatever place, like Little Italy, little Chinatown, little so we just kind of take from everywhere and claim it as our own. It's kind of what
very American.
very, very American thing to do. That's what we do.
Better. All the Brits are sitting there right
but
now.
we're never the masters of it though. We have it, but we're never it's never great.
Yeah, no.
So it's the fish and chips. Oh man, amazing. The nightlife, the drinking, all that, after the show, the pub crawls and all that. I can't hang like I used to. I will say that, but it's always fun to kind of hang out with the fans after shows, and just see how many. Now I'm more of a watcher than a participant, but to see how many beers people can put away in one sitting is crazy to me.
That's wisdom.
So wisdom, yeah. But yeah, no, it's a unique scene. But yeah, I've always said the food is not my favorite. Not my favorite. And me, I'm an explorer. I tried new foods. I actually have a new it's called Franco Varga's Tales from the Trip. Remember the Tales from the Crypt? So it's Franco Varga's Tales from the Trip. It's just really I just this weekend alone, I shot one of the world famous barbecue spots in St. Louis. And that
was very popular.
Every episode. Amazing.
Ribs.
Yeah, ribs were amazing. But this is every episode you'll see me go somewhere that's really already famous and check out the food and check out the history and talk to them about how things were operated and all that. So it's kind of a docu series of and then you'll see a little bit of wrestling, but it's not hyper focused on the wrestling. So it's more like everything in between the wrestling. I actually this weekend held a Spider-Man #1 worth $20,000, a comic book. I held it and I immediately gave it back because I didn't want to crease it and owe them any money. But I got to check out All American Comics is a big deal here, and it's another comic book shop in St. Louis. So I go to all these cities and kind of check out these little gems. I did it in the UK. So, but a lot of the UK was again just the traveling. what it takes to go here and there and get there and all that. So I think there's a certain charm to all of that.
Next time you're here, there's a few places, underground places, I'll be able to help you out with, especially when it comes to comic books, like some good stuff and very.
Yeah, I asked around. The guys didn't really seem to know, either record shops or comic books or
yeah,
there are things I definitely want to check it out. I want to film all these episodes. So yeah, I'll be there February, so I'll have a lot of episodes to do.
I was going to say, I can always help out, man. Like, I will say, if there's one thing, we can be a bit stuffy, the British, when it comes to stuff like that. And I'm very lucky being from obviously a mixed family and things of that nature. Like, it's moving around is a thing. Like, basically like a kind of nomadic lifestyle for us. So for me, I'm all about different cultures and finding those little places, and that's what excites me about America, and vice versa for you coming over here, man. So. Yeah, we'll hook you up with some slightly cheaper comic books. It has to be said. Like I ain't throwing a 20 grand Spider-Man at you anytime soon. So
no, yeah.
How do you?
But yeah, I know the piece of cake with Franco Varga is just it's a spoof that started for me. Not liking the foods and not liking the traditional snacks and things like that, and not understanding what a biscuit and a what do they call it? Not a biscuit and a waffle, I guess. Yeah, so like I don't understand. They're just cookies to me. We just call everything cookie here. So
blanket over it.
With this cold blanket term on everything. It's cookie or snack or something. So you guys have a lot of different terms and just break it down so far. So I just thought it'd be fun to take the national favorites of snacks and things, and I actually filmed a lot more that are going to come out, and just kind of crap all over it because I'm a big heel and that's what I do, some big bad guy. So
I'm actually a little heartbroken it isn't genuine opinions of what you think. Like, so I don't know.
I think I give you the genuine opinion at the end, but I do give you a bit of a shocker, and it's kind of like, why would he know how that tastes?
The Iron Brew one broke my soul because I like Iron Brew. I was like,
I actually got tweeted by the Iron Brew people, which was really cool. I don't know what Iron Brew is trying to be. I don't know what it is.
I think that's why I like it, because it is just like
it's unique. It's very unique. Yeah. It's like if you could taste the color orange itself. I think that's what Iron Brew is. It's not the orange that you find on a tree. It's the color orange. So
actually,
but it was it was fun to have the company tweet me back and say we agree. So they don't even know what the hell they're making. So Iron Brew, what are you gonna do?
I got a good question for you. It's a tough one. You've come over here now, and you understand the British wrestling circuit pretty well now. You're pretty comfortable. You're like a household name, and man, do you know what's lovely? The amount of guys in the CWB locker room who I have a personal interest. I work really hard to try and get them into because I'm not a world-class wrestler, but I'm a very good person when it comes to creative, and then as you know, and I'm always trying to help guys look next level and a little bit more professional. And the amount I've got, not a single soul said anything but very high caliber praise for you and your attitude and the way you handled yourself and your dignity and respect, because there is kind of a thing over here. Doug Williams is amazing, we all know that, but there's a lot of guys who are assholes, who just it's like, it's my spot, get away from it, as a very Vinnie Mac kind of.
No, I can't. I'm not gonna lie and say, oh, that's not a thing. No, we all deal with the buttholes and crappy attitudes and stuff. But dude, the way I see it is, I am one guy out of the 15 at the minimum that it takes to run a show. So I'm here to do my part. It's a team. If you don't think about it this way, then you're doing something wrong. But it's a team effort. And just because they're coming to see me and Joe primarily doesn't mean they left not knowing other new guys. So if I could open those doors and help more people see the people that are on the card under me, I'm okay with that, because someone did that for me many, many times. I mean, I was on cards with like the likes of Tuco Scorpio headlining and Scott Steiner and all these WCW guys and stuff and WWF guys. And I'm just like, yep, they're at the top. but I'm going to make sure I can do everything I can do so that the people who like them eventually become people who like me. And 10 years of that, now I'm in that position where I can just I can do my thing and people want to come see me. But at the end of the day, they go, man, who is that kid? Who's that kid's? I'm going to follow that kid too, because I already know Franco's going to do Franco stuff. But this new kid was pretty good. That's kind of why I took a liking to guys like Jake Hollister, just because he's, again, not well known, but that doesn't put a cap on how much hard work he puts in. And he's totally changed the way he looks. When I first met him, he was just a scrawny kid with kick pads. Now he's turning into a pretty solid, muscular guy. The ladies love him. And all the guys are going to be jealous of him one day, right? So that's my buddy. I think he's going to be just the next big household name wherever he feels like ending up. If it's here, if it's in the UK, if it's Australia, if it's anywhere else, I think he's going to be a name to look out for.
I wanted to get your opinion on his match, actually, because it's caused a real stir over here, actually. The day 24/7 championship, a lot of people are like, that's not wrestling, you're killing the business. And it really upset a lot of salty older people and things of that nature. Yeah. When you see stuff like that, do you, I mean, obviously, everyone's got a preference. We've all got a preference. Me personally, like, I'm not a big fan of watching Kenny Omega or the Young Bucks. It's not to say that they can't work. It's just not my cup of tea. And I'm more of the opinion now, as opposed to younger Aeron Nix. Older Aeron Nix is like, don't really care. Just I'll watch what I like, because that's just easier than hating on something else, And that's true. How do you feel when you see, because obviously you would have had a vested interest in that. Jake comes over, and by the way, amazing job Jake did as well. He deserves a lot of love and credit. He really showed out and showed up in every area he went, from what I can tell. By the way, Jody Fleisch, which is sick. We'd all love to do that. I wouldn't personally, because
a lot of the UK talents like, who the hell's this guy? when they announced that he was wrestling Jody, a lot of the UK talents like, hey, I got a bunch of messages like, who the hell's this guy? I'm like, he hasn't earned that match yet, but he's getting it, and he definitely showed out and definitely made it. When the opportunity knocks, you better answer, right? Whether you earned it or not.
Yeah.
And he definitely knocked it out of the park with Jody. So I was very happy to see that. So, but no, I think, gosh, I mean, that's a tough question. I think, well, I got to ask you, like, what's wrong with Kenny Omega? I mean, it's
like me personally, I think he's, first of all, lousy talking, in my opinion. Can't talk. Like, I don't think he's very good at talking at all. Like, you dwarf him on the mic. I mean, dwarf him. Like, and I'm not saying everyone has to be good on the mic necessarily. There's a lot, like, for instance, my favorite wrestler of all time is Bret Hart. Never the strongest, but never, out lightning out. Everyone always looked at Shawn Michaels as the more charismatic guy in that respect. But like Kenny Omega, I don't know. Like, I'm starting to see, I guess where I'm covering it a lot for the podcast, I was sitting there thinking, oh, man, I'm seeing the same thing a lot, and it's not as edgy, and it's not as, I like hard hitting stuff. I like New Japan. So also where he's tweaked his style to suit a North American audience, I feel like he's left a lot of that behind. And to be honest, I feel like he's much more interested. I get the impression that he tries to pop himself more so than the industry. Like, I just get that impression off of him. And then the Young Bucks, it's like, okay, cool. Like, but I see FTR and I think, whoa, like, that really stands out to me. Like, but I like work rate, and I guess, no question these guys have a work rate. But for me, I'm always kind of enjoying. I like storytelling. I do like a slower pace as well sometimes. So if I'm going to see someone flip, they've got to be really special at it. For my opinion, Ray Phoenix is the best. Like, insane. Like, and once I've seen that, I'm like, well, I kind of don't really care what the rest of you do, because I'm like, this guy can do it better. So horses for courses.
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't mind, like, watching Kenny. I think that's another match that would excite me in the future, but just not there.
I'm just, I want to see you beat his ass.
I think like you said, storytelling is everything. And I think I try to like take everything in consideration on a show. So a lot of people will say like, oh man, he watches all the matches. Like, nah, I want to say, yeah, I care about everybody and I want to watch all the matches because I care out of the goodness of my heart. But really, really what I'm doing is making sure that I'm not walking into a situation where that they've already seen. So um I'm not big on like, hey guys, I need you to stop doing this and don't do that. That's what I do. No, I can overcome. That's fine. I think I'm good enough to overcome any situation, but I don't want to insult their intelligence by doing a bunch of stuff they've already seen and then expecting it to be the main event. So I watch all the matches to see, okay, well, this already happened, that story's already been told. Let's get creative. And it's kind of what me and Joel did, which what me and Doug did, especially what me and Joey Hayes did. I mean, we had to scrap our initial match a few times, just sitting back there. But no, I go into it thinking 100% about the fans. Just kind of, you don't. Here's an analogy I want to use. Like, if you watch an initial movie and then you pay to see the sequel and it's same scenes from the first movie, it's gonna piss you off, right? They didn't film it feels like they didn't film an entire new movie for you and you don't feel like you get your money's worth. So the more you anticipate a match, the more you have to be, strict and really watch the stuff before you and then kind of and I don't want to say that not everyone's not on the same page. A lot of the guys are on the same page. A lot of the guys came over and respectively, they're like, hey, I know you do this. Are you doing that tonight? And I just said, if I do it, then I'd avoid it. But no, I think for the most part, I want to protect the fans and their intelligence and respect their intelligence and just give them something new. Like you said, it was a world-class match. It was just what was different that night. It was a totally different story. Two different guys they haven't seen, two different guys they've seen mainly online and stuff, and doing something they hadn't seen that night in a story that hadn't been told that night. So that's kind of how I like to go at wrestling and thinking about wrestling and really just looking out for the fans. Just looking out for the fans.
Do you know what I love about your match with Joel, especially, is that I noticed you didn't really answer the question about the Dirty 24/7 title either, so I thought we'll slide that one past.
Oh yeah, no. So I am a former Dirty 24/7 champion myself one time.
Twice.
And I cannot believe I just took my eye off the ball. But no, the 24/7 thing, could it have been done better? Yes, absolutely. And I gave those guys my notes, so they know how I feel about it. But the fans, like I try to follow if you got to do this and try to see what's going on, it's most people are going to jump on their phone after a while and kind of wait for the next match. So, but that all comes with experience. The actual having a 24/7 champion, these are things that we did in the Attitude Era, when the golden age of a lot of us loved the Attitude Era versus anything else. And it was fun back then, and it wasn't lowbrow comedy. It wasn't. So I think when it's done right, it's phenomenal. When it's done just to be done, that's kind of when you kind of insult the fans, their intelligence a little bit, and you also kind of diminish just everything before on the card, and everything coming after has to work harder to get those reactions back. So. But no, the match itself had some pretty creative things in it that I would have done most of it in the ring. There's nothing wrong with doing it in the ring. It's our stage. It's a platform. It's higher than the chairs for a reason, because everyone can just look up and see you at all times. There's no bad seat, but when you go all around the building, you can't see. It's tough to stay interested as a fan if you're sitting way back there and you can't see nothing but the shadow of a guy. I'm sorry, I'm gonna start playing Angry Birds until they get back in the ring.
There's your little soundbite. Franco Varga plays Angry Birds. So,
I do play Angry Birds. It
I'll
works
do
on
that.
flights without internet.
Yeah.
That's why I love it.
I always see the analogy actually, and I'm aware that it's something you've probably used, is 80% in the ring, 20% outside of the ring. So.
That is mine. Someone the 80-20 rule.
Everything's always in my ear. Someone's always telling me something that's being said, but I think that's really good advice.
I'm glad that I could pass that off, and they're actually taking the advice.
As soon as the individual in question you heard that was like, he's very good at absorbing knowledge and applying that and becoming better. He's a really good kid. He's personally
good.
He's a close friend of mine, and I think he's somebody you'll probably likely see a lot more of, because he is just that good at applying himself and also listening and learning as well, which is such an important part of our trade. Speaking of advice and things of that nature, you would have got to have seen different locker rooms, and there's no question that CWP locker room is, it's not unprofessional or anything, obviously I'm not going to dump on it, but it is very different. It's very colorful, it's very unique. Like I would like to think that our locker room is, it's not, you're not going to see those locker rooms every day. You're just not, which is kind of nice, or at least I wouldn't think so from where I've worked and my experience. But then I'm also here. And for you, looking out at everything that you've seen in there, what's the kind of advice you would give to rest? Is there anything like, is there kind of like a sort of, I don't know, a checklist of sorts where you say to guys, because I imagine guys come up to you a lot now, like, yo, Franco, have you seen my match? Can I have advice? Things of that nature. But I also know a lot of wrestlers will watch this and they'll be very interested in your wisdom, your knowledge. What helps, do you believe? Do you have anything that you think might help, like a general kind of knowledge or a general offering of wisdom that sort of help people?
No, yeah, I think, well, for one, to sum up the CWP locker room in one word, it was just fun. It was a fun, diverse group of guys. Like, everybody was just different. And I was just like, man, if this was done on purpose, this was done well, because no one looked the same. No one acted the same. No one really did the same things. It was fun. It was like, wow, like whoever put this together definitely tried to make it different than everyone else. But for advice wise, I think the biggest piece of advice that I got that really turned it around for me, from like just being a dark match guy and then being offered like a few things that I had to turn down because I wanted different goals for myself. And that came from Ron Simmons, a mentor of mine. He's like my wrestling dad. I call him all the time whenever, hey, what would you do in this situation? And he doesn't get tired of me, thank God. But he said, take yourself seriously and get out of your own way. And that was actually after, in Canada, we went on a 30-day tour of just, wrestling every day for 30 days. You guys would know them as the Canadian Death Tours. Probably heard of the legendary Death Tours from like Chris Jericho and them, Lance Storm and those guys. So I did one of those. And with Ron Simmons, I was an independent. So the way they do it, they have a legend, headlining head legend, and then there's an independent star guy that's a legend, that's the headliner for the matches, right? Because the legend's not wrestling. So that was my role, and then his role was he's the legend. So we decided to just ride together, and I just soaked everything up. But the biggest thing was one night, after the crowd's Franco, he just comes up to me and I'm super like, whew, that was fun. On to the next thing. And he just came up to me and said, when are you going to take yourself seriously and get out of your own way? And I'm like, what does that mean? He's like, well, you're not treating this like you want to make it on someone else's terms. You need to be with 3 letters, and you're looking at this stuff like none of those things make you happy. Just knowing what you want, knowing how you want to develop. So get out of your own way. Let yourself be happy. Go do the things that you want to do. Be happy, and you'll see yourself to start to care again and start to want to be the best in these different places and all that. Because I kind of was coasting at that point. I was I want to say 5 years in, 6 years in, and I was kind of coasting. I was starting to like, maybe this is it. Kind of float around maybe Japan and then do the New York scene and do the little bit of Canada. And no, I took that to heart, Went to Mexico, went to the UK, wrestled for the X Division title with Brian Cage. That was another match that I took super seriously and that like opened so many doors for me. I became the creator first time ever. I think the highest paid talent in I wrestled in a stadium. I won a title in a football stadium. I mean, it's ever since then I've just been very okay. It's work. You got to clock in, and you got to do it like it's your job. And I've been full time since 2018. And it's something that I, say to myself before every match is take yourself seriously and get out of your own way and just have fun. And I think that's something that a lot of guys struggle with. They want the gimmick to be perfect. They want the gear to be perfect. They want, I'm not saying don't get boots, but they want everything to be perfect. And then they want to wait until it is perfect. Don't wait. Get out there, get that experience, go out there and suck. Go out there and try to be better than you were last night. But if you suck, guess what? You suck less tomorrow. So it's a process, man. It's, a lot of people know who I am now, but 10 years ago, I had one follower. So what am I at now? 10,000 or something like that. So it's a process, man. It's just get out of your own way, allow yourself, I know a lot of, and mental health has been like a big thing in the last couple of years. That's awesome that we're finally doing that, but get out of your own way. Stop worrying if people are going to like you or not. Learn to connect with the crowd. Watch things that are not wrestling. Trust me. It's crazy when you start to like dissect. Okay, so like Game of Thrones, right? One of the best well-written things. Oh, okay, maybe Harry Potter was a little more well-written, but Game of Thrones, right? Common everyday thing that most people have watched. If you dissect a character from Game of Thrones and like really try to understand that character, and then you take that and put that into your wrestling career and like kind of not mimic the character, but just the understanding of character work, gimmicks become an easy everyday thing. So like wrestling isn't everything, but it should be everything to you. So learn to like find ways to make your wrestling better that's not involved in wrestling. So like break down a character in Game of Thrones, only watch that character. Read a book and really like see the character, like the actual roller coaster of what you're reading, because then you'll be able to do that and show the fan base, that the people that are watching, you'll be able to like create that feeling in 8 to 10 minutes in a wrestling match, right? So if you become good at storytelling and like dissecting your character and all that, becoming a character won't be that hard. A lot of people give me a lot of kudos on the biggest wrestler ever, and honestly, the biggest wrestler ever is small things that I hate about the business itself, and just people itself, like Hollywood and all that. And that's the character. The character is an embodied version of everything I hate about people. So obviously, naturally, people are I have a lot in common with people, so they're gonna naturally hate that character as well. So if I can give them 20-minute matches of this guy, Franco Varga right now reminds me of that guy from high school, from the university, that shoved me in a locker and took my money and I couldn't eat that day. That guy reminds me of that guy. I hate that guy. It's not about me. You can't take it personally. The character reminds them about someone in their personal life, and that's what storytelling is. Everybody has a boss. Everybody has a crazy ex-girlfriend. Everybody has a crazy ex-boyfriend. Everybody has an annoying little brother. Like, find a way to relate to those fans. That's my advice.
Yeah, that's I'm sort of like trying to apply that to what I've done so far. The thing that really struck a chord with me was the whole waiting for your gear to be right. Because as you know, with my creativity, I'm a super perfectionist about my creativity. I want everything.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
There's no
like
wrong with being a
the
perfectionist.
t-shirt design, I kept drawing it over and over, and I was just like, no, that's not good enough. Do it again. Sometimes, but like with my ring gear, I've been painting my jacket for what feels like months now. And I'm sort of adding little details to it. And there's nothing wrong with that. But then I'm thinking, well, how long is it going to be before you actually go out and wear it and like wrestle in it?
So here's the thing. Here's the thing. Like if you're painting it, put it on. Put it on. It might be perfect now. It might be you put it on and you realize, oh, this will look better this way.
Do you think people are guilty of waiting too long in this business?
Yeah, I think people do wait way too long. I think there's so many different rules that, just talking to the legends over the years, there's all these rules in the wrestling business, and a lot of them were meant to slow people down so that the people on top were able to make a living for a little longer, because the young guys eventually are going to come up and make a name of their own. So waiting your turn and this and that. And like, those rules really don't apply as much. I still think we should all support each other in a way, but it's also going to always be competitive. There's always going to always be jealousy. I deal with that all the time, where it's like, the guys love that I'm around and that the fans will come and see me, but at the same time, they're like, man, why not me? And I can't take that personal. I can't take that jealousy personal. They're well within their right, because I used to say, man, why are all these people here to see Carlito? Like, I'm Jack too. And like, yeah, but I'm only been wrestling 2 years at that point. And he's been, so it's like, you grow up in a business and you start to realize, oh, this is how it really works. Like, this is what's really important. Just find some good people and get out of your own way, man. Have a ton of fun. And just like with the jacket situation, put it on. You'll be surprised. You'll be surprised, So go out there and if the character's not 100% to your liking, go out there and develop the character. Because guess what? The people might tell you, hey, with their reactions, hey, the character's perfect. Hey, we hate this character. Hey, we love this character. And everything develops, Stone Cold Steve Austin was not Stone Cold Steve Austin the way we know him in the beginning. You know what I mean? So that's a good example of this. I think he got fired from every company, and then he finally got to Stone Cold Steve Austin, kind of by mistake. And then now he's like a household name for 30 years now. So he's got to get out of your own way. You got to try it, man. You got to try it. Go out there and try and see what works. What works tonight, you can tweak and fix tomorrow. So just get out of your own way.
When you say get out of your own way, would that apply to? That can apply to a lot of things, but
a lot of things. I mean, that's because we've been taught somehow, either through fear or through failure, that you need to stop and think about it a bunch before you attempt it. It needs to be perfect the next time, because I don't want to fail again. Dude, I love every time I've fallen flat on my face with things. I love looking back and going, oh man, yeah, I tried a different hair color. I tried buzzing my hair. I tried this. I mean, this is a try in itself, getting this hair the way it's supposed to be. I've tried wearing tights. I tried wearing trunks. I love how I look in a singlet. So I finally got to that, but initially I was like, I could never wear a singlet. I could never do it. And I finally got one, and I was like, wow, this is nice. Like, I look big, I look huge. I look like the character should. And I think all those times I did white boots. I did, I tried a tag team. There's so many things that like I tried, but I kept trying and trying and trying and trying. And I kept failing and failing and failing and failing. And then I get to the point that it works. Something works for me, but you got to go through the motions to get there, man.
Yeah, no,
and that's what I mean by getting out of your own way. Because I could have really just sat there and said, I'm just going to keep drawing on this piece of paper till something feels right. And never had the career that I've had.
Yeah, no, it's given me a lot to think about, to be honest, just listening to it. And it's good. I I wish I'd had that open mind when I was younger. I'm an older guy now, so it's really weird kind of feeling like a veteran, but being a rookie in terms of actual working wrestling. Like, because everyone's like, what did you think? I'm like, don't ask me, I'm rubbish. Like, but
Yeah.
I guess everyone's got an opinion. That's something else I'm learning, is just because you haven't been in it, I've only been in the business 5 years. So for me, I'm like, well, I've still got something to offer. I've still got an opinion on something creatively, camera angles. You'd be amazed how many people ask the camera guy what he thinks, which is a real surprise. But I guess when you're that close, you can see it all and break it down. So
I'm big on camera. I think you're notioning to me. I get with the camera people because they're I don't only wrestle for the here and now. And that's another habit that eventually people, that's everyone catches it at a different time. But I try to get with the camera people just because there's people behind the lens. I've worked for TV and I did OVW and I did just did TV last night. So there's people behind the lens and they're owed those reactions as well and those facials and all that stuff. So they're owed all that stuff too. They're watching. So don't forget about the people here, but also don't forget about the people behind the lens. And it's tough. It's tough, but that's kind of why you get with them ahead of time and say, hey, when I do this, look for this and all that. So it's you got to be considerate. Again, consider the fans.
Yeah, do you know what? I always say to guys, because I've got enough footage under my belt and portfolio now that I'm like kind of learning how to tweak and do things that work well and start, throwing in graphics and things of that nature and just making it look just that little bit more polished every time. And I think that's the kind of idea with all of us, is to make yourself look more polished than you did the last time around. And with, like, for instance, with your footage, like just completely shoving the fourth wall aside for a moment. The best advice I could ever give someone who, if they're saying to me, how do I work? Like in front of the camera, work as if the camera is important to you. Because I've noticed this, the guys who always look at the camera, who are aware of it, there's a moment in your match, Joel's reaching out to the camera. That stuff, may not necessarily translate to the audience there, but there's going to be hundreds of people who watch your match back on YouTube are going to be like, that's almost like he's reaching out to us to try and help us. And those little things, I noticed that you were very good at being aware of where the camera was so that you could work to it if you had the opportunity without sacrificing the ability to show off to an audience. That's kind of next level shit. Let's be real. So, that's experience. That is.
Thank you. Yeah, it's just fine. Figure out what's important to you. Most guys, like the Dean Malenkos of the world, they're not gonna be great at entertaining, but they're, in the ring, phenomenal, right? But they're not gonna get the things that I get. But I'm not gonna try to out wrestle those guys. That's their thing. They're gonna look good at it. I can do the things that I know you're gonna. People always give me crap. My goal is to be passable in the ring, and to be very entertaining and be the guy that people want to pay to come see, either get his butt kicked or do some butt kicking. But am I gonna be the demon? No, there's no way. There's no way. I'm too tall. I'm too big. All of it. Like, it's just you got to know your limitations. But are people going to come to see me either get my butt kicked or me do some butt kicking? Yeah, that's my number one goal. So yeah, we just got to figure out what works for us.
I guess I'll leave it with the one last question then, because I feel like I'm kind of just taking this interview as an opportunity to get my own advice, and then everyone else can pick it off. How very Wrestle Plug of me. I'm not trying to get myself over. I'm just fascinated by the whole mechanics of it. For instance, the way I work, very heavy set, a lot of yeeting, all that kind of stuff. I like throwing people, stuff like that, but I'm not very athletic in the sense of, you're not going to see me flying off the top rope. You're not going to see me, do you know what the real bugbear is for me? And it drives me crazy, and I've done it 1,000 times and still can't do it properly, is doing a commando roll and coming up on my feet. It drives me crazy. I don't know what's wrong. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I might just send you a video of it and go, please explain to me what's going on.
No, for sure.
It's a little thing, but I feel like that mechanic could make a match so much more fluid and work to it. But then again, do I need to be fluid? So I guess my final question is, as a powerhouse and a guy who can really move, what's most important in a bigger man's wrestling arsenal? Is it being, serious about being a big guy? Should a big guy be able to, do a Keith Lee stuff, or should they be able to move like Brian Cage, or should they be able to be more sensible with their mindset? Should they be able to, for instance, am I putting myself at a disadvantage, just using myself as an example, when I go out there and just have a very simple match with very simple suplexes and a lot of big throws, but not too much else in terms of fluidity?
So a few things you need to consider is where are you on the card and what has already been done, right? Because you're not going to come out 300 pounds and do the things that I've already seen tonight and no one else has been that size. It's boring. You're 300 pounds for no reason, right? So do those things that like make you stand out that haven't been done tonight, right? So that's the first thing is do you need to do standard suplexes? Sure, but can you do other things because for a fact those suplexes are gonna happen? Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's stand out. Do everything you can to be, to stand out. As a powerhouse, I try to dictate the story. So if you've noticed, the bad guy Franco Varga is very he cheats. He does these things where that frustrates the fans because he doesn't have to. Because he's strong. He can, but he's also don't hit him in the face. He's too pretty and all these other things. But really, he's an ass kicker when it's only at his advantage, right? And that naturally frustrates people because it doesn't have to be that way. It's just the guy's just, But as a baby face, as a good guy, it's a lot of like, nope, like you got to try harder. You should have been more prepared for me. That's the kind of stuff that people can get behind. Where it's like he's not gonna take no crap. He knows he's big. He knows he's large. He knows he's in charge. He's gonna make you pay for it. When he finally gets his hands on you, it's over. So that's so you got to work for your size, but also work within the story, right? And then do you put yourself at disadvantage by bumping and things? No, not necessarily, but every bump does count. You don't want to give that stuff away, especially for your size. You don't want to give away that first bump easy. You do want to do things to help your opponent as much as possible. Like Joey Hayes, a lot smaller than me. And throughout the match, I think it's already got 1,000 views, which is crazy because I actually just watched it last night to show someone. So it's a good match. But throughout the match, I outweigh him at least easily by 150 pounds, right? And I'm just trying to grab him throughout the match, and I keep running into things, and he's faster. When I finally catch him, the crowd, you could have thought the crowd was going to jump in and try to help him. Because they're like, no, that's my guy. No, like we were all having fun of him making you look stupid, but now that you got him, you're gonna hurt him, and we can't stand it, So it's storytelling. It's 100% storytelling. Someone who did it well was Mr. Perfect. He was a big guy. Yeah. He was a big dude, and he wasn't as big as Vader or nothing like that. One of my favorites, but he was a big guy, and he made it look great. He made a smaller guy like Eddie Guerrero and him they had some classics that people don't talk about. It's kind of criminal. Eddie and Mr. Perfect don't get talked about as much, but he was a big guy that his big high spot was a drop kick. The fact that someone that big could throw a perfect drop kick, the fans would go, whoa, like, damn, he could do that. Like myself, I do the lion salt, and for someone that size to do a lion salt, the fans like, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense. But it makes sense within the story because I get normally I get like super cocky and I'm like, this is it. This is how I crush them, and then I do something where someone my size should not be doing, and it looks pretty. It looks technically good, but to the fans it's like, whoa, I can't believe he tried that and almost did it but now he's gonna pay for it. And that's storytelling, you know what I mean? So there's nothing wrong with your size. I always tell smaller guys the same thing. Like Spike Dudley was a name for a reason because he told great stories at that size. So all in all, it's all about the storytelling.
before we move to the end, which is really sad because I could just do 15 parts. It's a joy, it really is. And we'll drag you back on, providing your agent doesn't mind, of course. That's how big he is, by the way, ladies and gents. He's got agents out the wazoo.
Oh, come on. We all eventually
at the
get
door. It's obscene. It's obscene. Yeah, smuggling in CWP.
I want to be an actor eventually, so that's why I have an agent. That's the only reason.
Well, it's to be honest, that's something that I've always noticed as well. Most wrestlers make great actors. Like, there's a reason that The Rock makes as much money as he does. There's a reason someone like John Cena, and I can see. I'll tell you what, that's a good question actually. Now that you've piqued my interest, I like to work on the fly. Who would you like to represent most as a superhero? If I said to you, Franco Varga, it's time to break into the movies, you can be a superhero of your choosing. Who are you going to represent? Who's your role, your most fascinating role for you?
That's a good question, man. Wow. I mean, I would have to say, I'd love to redo the Juggernaut, like, the Juggernaut from X-Men. I know he's a bad guy and all that, but I think I could bring a different life to the Juggernaut and actually like make it, comedy, but at the same time, it'll, I think I could see myself doing that one.
I could see you tearing Deadpool like Ryan Reynolds to pieces. Now I can also see you and Ryan Reynolds offset having the most hilarious time. That's a good in for you because Ryan Reynolds has started, getting. I noticed you mentioning soccer in your promo. Very clever, very clever. Very good stuff.
Soccer, man. It's
they love that. I get triggered about that stuff. But yeah, Ryan Reynolds has been making waves in that. He now partly owns a football team over here as well. So
I heard,
We'll take to a football game and we'll sneak you into the director's spot so you can have words about casting.
That's something I definitely want to do on my. I definitely want to go to football.
Talk to me about that. Once I've taken you to a Lincoln City game, you have a very different viewpoint of football. Very much so. But it'll be good fun.
I think I'm a Chelsea fan. I don't know.
You've always got to ruin it somehow.
I think I'm a Chelsea fan. I think so. I mean, they have a great win-loss record. So I don't know. I'm also a Yankees fan, so I love winners. But I think I'm a Chelsea fan.
I'm a Broncos fan, mate.
Oh boy, yeah.
Why am I doing this to myself?
Maybe Man City. I don't know what I like yet.
Yeah, okay. Well, we'll take you to. Well, I mean, I've got ins with a lot of football games, so we'll take you to a few games and we'll see what you think.
Sweet. Heard it here first.
There you go. So there's a lot of people who are now like, I'm turning that off. He just said Chelsea. People get very testy about it, real testy. But then again, Yankees, Red Sox, that kind of thing on our personal.
Yeah, we get pretty heated too. Yeah.
Right. We're moving towards the end. Unfortunately, we didn't really get a great deal of questions, although we did have an intriguing question about toilets in Bolton.
It was me. Yeah.
Yeah, you want to explain this to our audience?
Yeah, so it was me, baby. Was just a spoof thing that I started a few years ago. Yeah, a few years ago, and it's just mainly me destroying very, very like toilets in very, very notable places, historic places and landmark places, things like that. So if you clean the bathroom at whatever place, historic place, it was me, baby, and people really took a liking to that. There was even like a limited T-shirt for it on Pro Wrestling Tees and all that. But yeah, no, it's like I've always told the guys, sometimes it's what you do outside of wrestling that makes you a better entertainer. So yeah, that was one of those things that I tried, and it caught on. But no, what have you gotten as far as questions from that? Yeah, I'd love to answer those.
We do have some anonymous questions, actually. Everyone who sent them in, because I thought I'd ask the guys, and they wanted anonymous questions. So I do have, luckily, so we're fairly clued up here. We do have some tech. As you know, I'm very techy. So basically, these are all anonymous. So I apologize. There were no names that mentioned, and you'll probably understand why once you hear some of these questions. So we'll briefly blast through this. I think about 5 or 6. I apologize for that, ladies and gentlemen. It was a very quick turnaround, so you guys didn't have too long to get your questions in either. So when Franco does come back, if he does, because obviously he's such a mega star, it's very hard to pin him down. Because obviously he's the Queen's favorite wrestler. If you've got an audience with a Queen, you ain't gonna have an audience with Aeron Nix very often, are you? Let's be fair. You would not believe how much money it costs for this hour and a half. Right. Okay. Favorite wrestler in the CWP roster?
Franco Varga. I mean, that was Doesn't that count? Like, no. I liked. From what I saw. Geez, you gotta help me with his name, but I liked the dude at the end. He won the battle royal. He had the red
money
bigger guy. Yeah. So he showed a lot of like he cut a promo at the end of the show, and I could tell. And me and him talked about the promo and actually like his delivery. But regardless of the delivery, I could just tell he gives a crap about those people. He cares. He cares about CW people. He cares about those people. He cares about those fans. You can't fake that. You cannot fake that. You can't teach that. So that guy, he really came across as like just that hometown babyface that wants that town to be respected as far as wrestling goes and all that. And he has to put it on his back, and he's gonna make sure he does it. But he cares. He cares about those people. I could feel that. Like, so you can't fake it. You can't script that. You can't any of it. So yeah, that guy definitely stood out to me.
Yeah, Big Money Bobby Vegas, just as a very quick aside, I have never met anyone who cares more about upholding the industry more so than himself. Like, that is, and you'll probably have noticed that by the way he acts. He's very selfless. He's a high quality professional, and he's earned the right. And funnily enough, he just wrestled Doug Williams this weekend as well. So that tells you.
Oh boy,
nice. He's done well. He's doing very well, and he's wrestling Simon Miller from What Culture, and he's getting around, and he's earned that, and I'm very proud of him because I've seen what he's gone through to get to that. Sticking with CWP, strange one. We answer all of them, and we ask all of them. Sure. Were you aware of Joel Redman's wardrobe malfunction during your match?
Yes. Okay. Yes. So
sorry, Joel.
Again. We all work together, so So I kind of, you can kind of see if you watch it back, you can kind of see me start to ham it up and try to get people to look at me versus the obvious malfunction. But no, I was aware, and I immediately started doing the biggest wrestler ever pose and all that. So. The more eyes are on me, the less eyes are on him fixing his stuff. So yeah, but yeah, no, I saw it
happen. I'm sure. I imagine.
Oh yeah, I mean, this is why I don't wear trunks. I don't wear trunks, and
this is why I'm grateful I wear cargos, man. I wear Moxley cargos for that reason. I'm so glad because I don't want to expose, anything to do with the Pharaoh. That's for sure.
No, yeah, and to Joel, no one saw him, buddy.
No. The really annoying thing is now I've mentioned it, and he's gonna hate me for this. And I'm actually doing a show with him soon, so I'm hoping he doesn't whip my ass. But he's like, everyone's gonna be like scrambling to the YouTubes now. So you're welcome to the extra views, by the way. You're welcome. By the way, Franco Varga versus Joel Redman available on CWP's YouTube channel for free, of course, and it is already the most watched match. And of course, it's gonna be. It's got the biggest wrestler ever in it. And
is it really?
Yeah, and some guy from NXT as well. Sorry.
Wow.
He'll kill me for that.
He's gonna kill you for that. But no, is it really the most watched match?
Yes, it is. It is legitimately has the most views, great interactions, not a single dislike. That doesn't mean you can go to the YouTube channel and start matching a dislike, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. So I'll send Franco to your house, and then
That's awesome, man. That definitely made my day. That's awesome. That's good news.
Yeah, it's big numbers, and the numbers keep growing. I'll tell you who is catching you though, and that's the dirty 24/7 scramble match. So controversy creates cash, baby. You don't want to get undertaken by that. Jay Collister will never let you forgive it. But honestly, that from me personally to you, thank you very much, because that was a massive deal for me to be able to record two legends of wrestling in a match, like just as a little personal kind of like selfish thing. I was like, this is freaking cool, but at the same time, the amount that that's helped in terms of growth of our channel and things of that nature. That's down to your professionalism and your hard work. So thank you very much.
Thank you. No, thank you. That's good. That's awesome, man. I always want to be on top, even if I'm modest and all that, but it's always good to hear I'm on top, even if it's for 15 seconds, but yeah, that's awesome, man. Thank you.
We had about 3 or 4 people ask, in terms of the dates for your UK tour, was there any kind of information you could give us on where you'll be during your return to the UK?
So there's going to be a really cool graphic coming out soon with all the dates and the seminars that I'm actually, one of them actually just sold out today. So I guess they're attached to a school, so that makes sense that they sold it out quick. But I'm doing a few seminars. If you've seen my reviews on seminars, I don't do the wrestling. I do how to make money doing this and how to be able to quit your damn job. So that's kind of what my seminar is a lot about. We still do some wrestling. We do a lot of character stuff and a lot of the things that stick with people long term. So but if you see one of my seminars, definitely hit them up and you'll see the graphic come out. It'll be February 1st is a travel day, but everything after that, February 2nd, all the way to the big WPW All Japan joint show that they just announced, Jody Fleiss versus Tajiri as one of the, and that's not even the main event.
So desperate.
So
desperate.
So wait till my match gets announced. I'm excited for it. I don't get excited for nothing. I'm excited for so that's my last date. That's my last date in the UK.
Exclusive.
Off the record, I'll let you know. But that'll be the last date of the tour. And then so I'll be traveling back on the 21st. So essentially 3 weeks. What's that?
Are you by yourself this time for this tour?
I am by myself this time, unfortunately. Yeah.
We missed you.
But yeah, I'm gonna miss Jake and the boys. But we got FaceTime, so I can call them whenever I want. But this time, unfortunately, I'll be back by myself, hanging out by myself. But I'll have more time to hang out with you guys. So, and then I have a couple signings in stores that I've inked down, for the most part, a few seminars and a lot of wrestling shows. So, but that'll come out very, very soon. I think before the new year, we'll have all the dates settled.
Awesome. Well, when they do arrive, ladies and gentlemen, they'll be available on Wrestle Plug. They'll be available on my personal social media. They'll be available on CWP everywhere, because you really do want to spend a very, very small amount of money to see someone as special as Franco. So if you haven't had the opportunity yet, and if you're a wrestler as well in terms of seminars, I'll make sure those details are available as well, because that's genuinely so. I mean, I'll be all over that if I get the opportunity. So that's as simple as that. Question really that people are interested in from your UK tour, out of the 3 individuals that you faced, of course, Mr. Hayes, Doug Williams, Joel Redman, who left the most lasting impression on you physically?
That's not really fair to ask, but I can say, I'll break it down like this. So my favorite match, I can't really say I had a favorite. So for growing as a performer, Doug Williams, seeing someone be the fire of seeing someone just be the fire of a town, and just having them strongly believe that, if he beats him, he beats us. Joel Redman, hands down. Those people felt like I was pinning them. They were pissed, which is my job. I mean, but at the same time, I knew Joel was definitely meeting me halfway when it came to having those people invested in that match. And then having just refreshing, fun story match. Just, I really recommend everyone works with Joey Hayes before he's all said and done. But just, it was such a collaboration of just, we wanted to pop the fans. We don't really, not that we don't care about the boys in the back and all, but we wanted to leave those people with a, oh man, I'm coming back here kind of feeling. So I think we accomplished that. But yeah, no, I didn't really have a favorite. I think if I broke it down, each match did something for me. And it was fun watching like Philip Michael and Jake Hollister. Philip Michael's a kid who was still a trainee my first tour, and now he's like one of the top up and comers in the country. Jody Flag and Jake was like, the amounts of heat that was coming my way through to get to Jake was crazy. And then after the match, I was like, he's gonna be fine. And then the CWP, excuse me, CWP with the 24/7 title. And I remember being a young wrestler, like titles meaning stuff and all that. So he's like, yeah, I was a champion for 20 seconds. And I was like, I miss being excited about stuff like that. So it was fun. Also, the whole weekend was fun to see this Jake grow as a performer. I know a lot of you guys took a liking to Jake, and I'm going to try to bring over guys that I feel like you guys are going to take a liking to. But yeah, it was fun to see him grow. And then at the end of the tour, he's just scratching his beard and he's like, I got to get booked over there again. And I'm like, yeah, you're on your own now. I gave you the first experience. Now you're on your own. We actually got to go hang out with the NXT UK guys, and one of my favorite people, Chris Sharp. He's the NXT UK referee over there, and is another good experience that I'm glad that I got to take Jake with me, to go do. So, yeah, man, it was. I don't want to say I'm like a wrestling dad of sorts or anything like that. I'm not that old, but in the business, I guess I can help. If I can help one guy at a time, I feel good about that. So, yeah, it was a hell of a weekend.
I like this question. If you had a chance to basically, I'll sort of paraphrase because it's not spelled very well, and I have words with you about that personally. But
Okay.
if you had an opportunity essentially to get hold of yourself, so say you go back in time 10 years and you bump into young Franco Varga as he walks into a training school for the first time, what was the one thing you could possibly say to him that will stay with him, that will help him get to where you are now? What would it be?
Yeah. I would give myself the advice that I was given that really changed my life, really. That's take yourself seriously and get out of your own way. And also, here's all these contacts. I mean, if I'm gonna go back in time, I'm gonna give myself all the contacts that I have made throughout the years, and hopefully give myself an advantage. But no, that's what I would tell myself, is just like, take it seriously and treat it like a job, and treat it like you depend on it, and stay out of your own way. Try. Don't be afraid to fail. So just get back up, dust it off, and get back up.
Two more questions left, mate. I quite like this one. WrestleMania weekend. Any plans for Franco Varga to be working it? They've got like quite a long question here about, like, obviously, because you'll know, so I don't know why I need to fill you in, but basically, obviously, everyone kind of converges around it. I know that it's kind of in your backyard, so to speak, or at least it is for the time being. What's your plans for WrestleMania? Do you have anything in particular? Because I know that obviously with first time ever being your thing as well, is there a chance to kind of work shows like that?
Yeah, so I've gotten a lot of offers. I actually haven't. I've said yes to a few things, but I will say exclusive. Here we go. We're about to drop an exclusive here for you. First time ever, Dallas has been 100% booked, 100% produced. We have a lot of non-wrestling legends, if that makes any sense, on the show, making cameos and things. A certain Power Ranger. I don't know which color, but a certain Power Ranger will be coming with me to the ring. So again, another 10-year-old Franco freaking out. Oh my God, this is happening. But no, yeah, first time ever, Dallas is going to be available on Fight worldwide. I support anything that I do. I find it surreal. So thank you ahead of time for the guys who have ordered 1, 2, and 3, and now might order Dallas. I see where all the, when I get the breakdown of all these things, all the sale reports, and I see a lot of like UK and Japan orders for things, and I'm just like, they really like me. You know what I mean? So yeah, thank you for all the support, for, everyone. And then if you can't make it to WrestleMania weekend, I don't know, order First Time Ever Dallas, and then maybe watch Vince's deal. I don't know, maybe. Who knows?
No idea what that is. No idea.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
But yeah, no, I'll be around. I'll be doing a lot of the shows this year. I skipped it this past year because of COVID. To be honest with you, but yeah, this one I can't miss because I'm actually producing a show. So
yeah, that's exciting for the UK audience as well. I know a lot of UK fans travel out to Mania, and they'll be able to this year. There is less restrictions in terms of flying, and actually, rather coolly, you were one of the very first United States wrestlers to be able to get over here since COVID protocol been lifted and that. So, bit of a trailblazer as always. So, congratulations.
Thank you.
Finally, kind of almost like a knock up of the earlier question, but where does Franco Varga see himself in 10 to 15 years time at the back end of his career?
Oof, 10 to 15 years. Probably needing a wheelchair. No, I do run I work a pretty balanced pace of match, but I have always been told by the legends, like, hey, you're doing a lot. But at the same time, I kind of try to balance like the Japanese style with the American style with the things that I picked up in Britain. And I actually did a front face lock chancery into a front face lock chancery into a abdominal stretch. I picked that up from Doug Williams. So at the TV taping last night, they were like, "Whoa, what was that?" And I was like, "Yeah, a little something I picked up in England, So I try to work a pace that's still entertaining, but at the same time, I know I need to slow down. So hopefully by 15 years from now, I'm just producing shows and being easy on my body, and still hopefully enough of a household name where when I feel like taking off the headset and going out there and having one more match, people are still interested to see it.
Well, I can't take up any more of your time as much as I want to. Hopefully, if we're very lucky, we'll have you back on when you do so wish. So, in between such a hectic schedule of hanging out with amazing beards, great barbecue, and also doing some wrestling as well on the odd day off.
Life.
You live a great life, sir, and you've earned the opportunity to live that life.
Maybe we'll do one of these live when I'm over in the UK. We'll do one of these live.
Tell you what, we'll get an opportunity to sit down with you. We'll open up the laptop, the mic, and the videos, and we'll do it that way. That'll be pretty cool because it's been a while actually since we did. Obviously, COVID kind of scuppered my ability to do face-to-face interviews a bit more, so Zoom kind of took over. But that's something I'd really like to do as well. Before you go though, where can people buy Franco Varga merchandise, and where can they interact with you on social media?
Yeah, so I make it super simple. You can go to at any social media at Franco Wrestles. You can support me directly at francovarga.com. You can also find all my links. There's also an exclusive members area where if you sign up, you can watch exclusive matches that aren't anywhere to be seen, like Franco Varga versus Suicide, Franco Varga versus Jonathan Gresham. I mean, there's a lot of matches that you won't see. You have to kind of, you got to pay to watch these, but I guarantee their match is worth watching. So, but yeah, the member section is there. And of course, buttons, hoodies, t-shirts, DVDs, all of it, francovarga.com. Yeah. And of course, my schedule, if you want to see where I'm going to be, francovarga.com.
Yeah, can I just say as well, as a little aside, because I don't get to impart much wisdom of my own, but for wrestlers up and coming, try and make your social media tags the same as everything like Franco has done here. You would not believe how easy it makes our life when we are putting that in the freaking description. When somebody's like, yes, my Instagram is insert binary code here, and then the other one's like, I'm like, just one will do. If you can make it, obviously. Try and make it easy for yourselves, because then it makes it easy for your fans to catch up with you. And I can speak from personal experience. I don't want to show it off too much. Your post is actually getting framed and put up on the wall, which I'm very excited about.
Oh, man. Thank you.
Beautiful.
That's
absolutely awesome. Beautiful merchandise. I'll put a little it'll be right there so you can see it for yourselves because it's very beautiful. The artwork was incredible. So I'm not entirely sure who the artist was, but credit to them. Absolutely stunning.
Yeah, it's Mr. Cartoon here out of Texas in the United States. So
yeah. So
very
if you're a wrestler and you want something of this kind of ilk, he's definitely the person to go to. Stunning work, and there's somebody who does a lot of
great work
on that. I couldn't get close to that. Very impressive. It's been a pleasure, mate. It really has. Being able to share a locker room with you was a real joy of mine personally, because I'm old enough now that I'm like, I just want to enjoy it and take it all in and really experience the moments and things like that. You're a credit to your wrestling scene. You're a massive credit to ours as well. The fact that you gave your time to something like CWP speaks volumes about your character.
I'm all about, like I'm at 19 Make-A-Wishes. Sorry, almost at 20. But I'm at I'm big on charity work, and just if I can use my talent or the talent I have to maybe bring people together. Oh, do you want to see Mrs. Varga? This she is. This is the lady that puts up with my stuff. Yeah,
a lot of stuff.
Get out of here.
There's a story there.
But no, I'm all about bringing people together, for a good cause, man. I was all about it when I heard about it. I wanted to be involved, and then the caliber of match that you guys put together to gain that attention was just it just said everything to me about how you guys felt about my the status in the business and my work in the ring and all that. So no, I was very, very astonished by the turnout. Really, it was. I didn't know anything about Southampton, but after leaving there, I know a lot about the people. So
yeah, it's a unique city, one of the biggest cities actually in Britain. People don't realize that. I went to university there, so it's kind of weird being
beautiful.
By the way, nice work on the Portsmouth thing, because I've spent most of my life living in Portsmouth, and I know how important it is for them to hate. I mean,
a little bit of Googling,
wow. Yeah. don't put into YouTube Southampton versus Portsmouth football if you're very, very sensitive about violence, because my God. Just settle down and love each other a little bit more. That's all I'm saying. Franco, it's been an absolute pleasure, mate. From a personal, selfish viewpoint, I have a bucket list, not a great one, because I've never considered myself much of a good worker, but I do have written down there, work with Franco Varga. So,
oh no,
that's kind of cool to me. Because for me, I feel like, and you'll probably be like, get out of here, but I feel like everybody should apply themselves the way you do, because I've met a lot of people who are very. I don't want to make it negative, but there's a lot of unprofessional behavior, attitudes, whatever it might be. But I've also met some amazing people, and you're right at the top of that list. I really respect the way you carry yourself. And for me, I was sitting there thinking, even if I can get in the ring with someone like Franco Varga and not embarrass myself and not be a complete discredit to our business, then that will be a massive achievement for me. So
even if you're
very unfortunate,
even if you had the intentions of, I wouldn't allow it. I wouldn't allow you to have a bad match with me. So I'm flattered, man. Thank you for putting me at the top of your list. That's awesome. Really funny. Every January 1st, I get tagged in a bunch of those things, a list for the year.
I'm not doing that. I'm not being that.
I damn near turned my phone off. But no, I this is with class. You're telling me to my face I'm on your list. So maybe I'll try to do something about that.
Never know. One day. I do have plans to. I've always wanted to take in a Mania, but I'm more excited. Like I've said to you off camera, I really get excited about localized wrestling, independent wrestling. I love that idea of being able to be your own businessman. And I'm very fortunate that I'm almost at that scenario now where I can kind of supplement my life entirely from wrestling. And, I've worked hard for that, and I know how important that is. And if anyone wants to kind of look at how they should behave and the model of what professional wrestling should be, I think Franco Varga is a very good place to start. So thank you very much for giving me your time at the Wrestle Plug.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Been a pleasure. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, check out the descriptions below if you missed any of these social media links. They'll all be available there. You can get your Franco Varga merch. It does ship worldwide, doesn't it?
Worldwide shipping. That's it.
There you go. You lucky badgers. Get on it. Trust me, the artwork alone is worth it. And the t-shirts are fantastic and lovely fitting as well for us larger gentlemen. So Franco Varga appreciates the larger human beings out there. It's not all wrestlers.
I'm one of you. I'm
looking at you, flippy midgets. God damn it. But yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure, sir. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you again. Thank you for having me. And thank you to everyone who sent in questions. Thank you.